Welcome back friends to our YouTube channel Incredible Abhishek. So what we are going to do in this session is that we are going to have an analysis over the magazines which are available into the market, means the best current affair magazine which is available into the market for UPSC CSE. This video has been previously also uploaded to our channel, but that was in bilingual, means the mixture of Hindi and English. So some of the students were facing problems who are not able to understand Hindi properly. So this video has been made for cater the needs of those students. This would be an English video. The video would be in English medium. And one thing that I want to say is that this video would be more comprehensive than the previous one. Why? Because that video which was published, that was published before the pre-examination, and this video is published after the pre-examination. So we are going to inculcate the things of the pre-examination, means the analysis based on that, whether these magazines are right now also familiar or they are useful for your examination or not. So we are going to see that also, and whether these magazines are useful. If that they are useful, so which magazine is useful for which, means which stage, means if it is available for if it is useful for your pre or for the mains. So that we are going to see, and if anyone is lacking in somehow, so how we can fulfill the requirements of that examination. So one thing that I will think that if you are watching this video, then you might have solved the questions of 2020 pre and 19 and 18 also. So 18, 19, 20, at least these 3 years. Or even if you have not solved it, if you have not solved it, you might have seen the question. So that if you have seen the question, then you can analyze, then you have analyzed the question, that these questions are being asked from this. So if I am saying something, then you can relate upon to it. Okay, otherwise that would be not fruitful. This session would not be fruitful too much for you. So if you have seen the 2020 paper, you might have seen that the current questions have been asked, but the current questions which are being asked, these questions are in less number. Means if you analyze the previous 18-19 paper, then the current affair questions in this year is slight, the number is slight less. But if you will see that the questions are being asked, some of the questions are being asked, some not, majority of the questions are being asked which are the questions of static, but they are mainly motivated from the current or inspired from the current. So how to tackle those questions, we are also going to see that also. So how to tackle those questions which are motivated from the current affairs but they are static questions. So how to tackle those questions and the current questions definitely. And if some magazines have certain elements, so the missing element can be fulfilled through which other magazines or sources, that we are also going to see. So basically in this video we are going to see these three magazines. Why? Because these are the most famous one magazines which are available into the market, or popular one. If you have been following any different magazine, then definitely you can comment below. We would be pleased to make the video onto it. So let's see this first. So first of all, there is a question that whether the magazines are really required, because this year the questions are being different from the other year's paper. So is magazine is really required, or magazine is going to fulfill the needs? So one thing that I would like to say, that you cannot predict the UPSC. First of all, if this year the current question is less, it doesn't seem that the next year also it would be less in number, it could be more. And one thing that I want to say, that you have to rely upon the current magazines. Yeah, I am not saying that don't have to see the newspaper, means you don't have to read the newspaper, you have to see the newspaper. But in addition to the newspaper, you have to go for one of the magazines, any of these, or if you have focusing on any other, then definitely that. Why? Because if you have seen this year's paper for the history, particularly if we're talking about particularly the modern history, if you have seen the modern history questions, then you might have seen that I think one or two question of the modern history was able to be solved through the spectrum book, but you can't change the source. Maximum of the question can be solved through one book that was of Cambridge University, but you cannot change the source. You have to rely upon the single source or the best source which is available into the market, and based on that knowledge you have to solve the questions. So you have to inculcate that thing rather than changing the sources, because if you are changing the sources, that is not fruitful for you. So if you are saying that the magazines are not useful, then definitely that is wrong. Yes, the orientation should be changed, how to read the magazines, that should be changed, and how to fulfill the requirements which are of the UPSC, that you have to see. So we have started on series of 10 lectures, that is first lecture has been published, that is in bilingual, so that you can see of the 2021, so based on the latest analysis. So let's do this first. So if you will see, my friend, that these are the three magazines which are available. So first of all, the basic thing about these magazines, then we will go into the analysis first. So if you will see that this magazine is almost of on and around of 200 pages, almost. This is of 150 almost, and this is of 100, not 100, it's just 70, 80, 90, that much. So if you will see that this magazine is almost twice of this, and this is 1.5 times. So if you will see that this will have the moderate, this is means paper wise how many pages that they have. So this is more bulky, this is less bulky, that one thing is cleared. So if you will see this magazine, three magazines. So first of all we will be talking about the insights. So basically if we talk about the insights magazine, what you will see that in every magazine there are almost 70 to 80 issues, plus if you will add of the pre, then of pre there are 100, almost 100 facts. So you will get almost 170 to 180 issues, but those issues are not comprehensively covered. Means these issues are not, these are just a current magazine, means they are just giving you the hint of everything or what is going on, but they are not giving you the analysis which is required. Means the insight is more focused to pre rather than mains. If I am saying that it is more focused on pre, that doesn't means that it doesn't have the content of mains. It has the content of mains, but it is more inclined towards the pre. So it has less content of the mains, because mains required analysis part, and that is missing in this, magazine. So this magazine is more pre-oriented, but the content is more, means you will get an enormous amount of content. But when we see the vision magazine is more mains oriented magazine. Why I am saying so, that this is a mains oriented magazine? Because you will get only 50 articles or 50 issues of it, but those issues are comprehensively covered. Means you will get in this, if any issues has been covered, you will get the context, why it is in news, the backgrounds of that, the details of that, then what could be the benefits, if anything benefit is there, demerits is there, then solutions, then way forward, then you will have the conclusion. So the format which is required for writing a mains answer, that you will get in this. So this is somehow more comprehensive one, vision IAS. But if you will see in the focus is a little bit balanced. It is having a balanced between the pre and mains. Means it has taken the balance between the pre and mains. So there is a balance between pre and mains in the focus magazine. Why I am saying so? Because it contains the facts which are required for the pre or the analysis which are required for the pre, and the content, for example, of what we say that the context in news, details of that, background is there, benefits, demerits, merits, demerits would be there, conclusion is provided, so everything is covered. So if you have been not following any of them, then if you are focusing on the focus, you will get a balanced one. But my suggestion would be that if you are not focusing on any of the paper, if you are not following any of the Hindu paper or any paper, Indian Express, then you should go with the insight, because it will give you more issues. But if you are focusing on to any of them, then you can go with this or this. And even if you are not focusing on any of the daily newspaper, then also you can go with this, because this is more balanced one. You will get almost, not half, almost a balanced one, means you will get a enough amount of issues which are required, and that is covered in a very beautiful manner. So this magazine is really good in comparison to the insights and vision. Okay, but how to approach this? Let us see this. One thing that you have seen, that whether you have been focusing on this or this or this, anyone, you need to focus. If you are focusing on this and this, you don't need much, but if you are focusing on this, you need much. That you need to research from your side also. What? Let us see that if you are reading any of the article, let us say of opaque, so in that magazine, if you are focusing on the insights, inside will give you the current context, what is happening, okay, and some of the facts of the opaque, what is opaque. If you are focusing on the vision, then it will give you broad analysis of that impact on India, that is covered onto it. But if you have focusing on the focus, means the RAUs, then that is going to cover the both, means it will give you the current context, some of the facts of the opaque, and the analysis which is required. But from your side, you, what is required, that you go into the Google and just Google it opaque and jot down some points and make your own notes of some of the opaques, because these questions are known as the questions which are inspired from the current, but they are static, means the question would be of what, opaque, but that has been inclined. Why? Because it is in news. For example, if you will see the G20 question is there, why that was asked? Because there was a virtual summit which was going on. So these magazines might have that content which is there, but it might not also. So what is required from your side is that you need to cover that from your side. If you are doing so, then definitely that is enough. And one more thing that I want to say, that if you are focusing on the insight is more pre-oriented, then you should have one mains magazine, or you should have the notes of some of the mains. For example, there is some mains 365 or mains compass or like that things, you need to focus onto it. And for the, if you are focusing on the vision, then you need to have some PT 365, although this year the PT 365 are not too much successful, but still, or PT compass. But if you are focusing on that would be suffice, something which you can do from your own side. So rest of the things is clear, and if you have any queries, then you definitely can ask from in the comment section. I would answer those questions, and more details we will be covering into that series which we are conducting of the 10 lectures, because in that series we are going into bit detailed manner. So how to cover everything, how to cover the currents, so that we will be focusing on that series. So I hope that everything is clear. Thank you and have a nice day.